Hello, I'm Bruce MacMakin with PBA Galleries in San Francisco, auctioneers of rare books, manuscripts, photographs, maps, and related materials. Every 3 months or so, PBA conducts a premier auction of fine and rare books, offering significant works in a cross-section of collecting fields. June 27th, 2013 brings a fine selection from the tiniest miniature books to massive folios. I have here 4 rare and important items in the auction. The first is this late 12th century glossed manuscript of 2 of the wisdom books from the Old Testament, Proverbs and Ecclesiastes. Glossed Bibles provide, in addition to the main text, which is at the center here, commentaries of the great church fathers, in this case with interlinear and marginal notes in a minuscule hand. You might be able to see them on the side and then in between the lines there. It is an attractively executed, written on both sides of vellum leaves, and a quite early example, some 300 years before the invention of printing. The green vellum binding is likely from the 18th century. We expect the manuscript itself for between $60,000 and $90,000. Next up is this first edition of Thomas Hobbes' Leviathan, published in London in 1651, in a rare contemporary sheet binding, nicely rebacked. You can see it's plain, but it is a contemporary binding. Hobbes' influential work on political philosophy was a groundbreaking departure from the accepted Aristotelian model of man as a natural social being. Instead, Hobbes declares him a purely selfish creature, seeking only his own advantage and resisting the competing claims of others. The result is confrontation, enmity, and war. Little has occurred in the last 350 years to cause one to dispute this postulate. The present copy is in unusually nice condition and is estimated at $15,000 to $25,000. Probably the most visually impressive book in the sale is this massive folio edition here of the Commentaries of Julius Caesar, from 1753, translated and with a preliminary matter by William Duncan, commonly called Duncan's Caesar. Its most noteworthy feature is the complement of 85 fine copperplate engravings, most folding, including maps of the lands conquered by the Roman dictator, depictions of various peoples subject to his rule, the battle formations of the Roman legions, and more. Bound in period calf with a modern leather spine, we feel it will bring between $10,000 and $15,000. Finally, we have one of the rarest pieces in the catalog. This proof printing of the first folium of the Kelmscott printing of Chaucer's works, the masterwork of William Morris. The first page features Edwin Burne-Jones' famous illustration of Chaucer standing in a garden, considered by many to be the most famous page in the history of fine typography. This proof was produced in 1893, some 3 years before the finished book was published in 1896, and is printed in a very small number and distributed to William Morris's friends for their commentary. Changes were called for and made, with the final page as printed containing 6 lines of text between the large initial W you see here, rather than the 7 lines in this proof. This created a ripple effect through the entire work. This Kelmscott press rarity should fetch between $15,000 and $25,000. These 4 fine items and 248 more are available in PBA Galleries Sale 509, Thursday, June 27, 2013, Fine and Rare Books. The catalog is currently published online at pbgalleries.com, and printed catalogs may be obtained through our galleries. Thank you.